Hey guys, Crazy Lazy 1212 here, bring you another draft video. So now, this is the opening pack. It's pretty okay, I guess. We got a few picks. We got Chemister's Insight, which is pretty good. Electrostatic Castic Field if we were going into Is It? And then the rest is pretty unexciting. Like there's like a Rhizome Lurcher there as well, which is just okay. It's nothing really special. And not a whole lot else going. There's a response resurgence too, which is slightly flexible, but the problem is that we're not going into Boros off the back, and it's not a high incentive to go Boros, so that's a thing while we're not quite sure. I'm going to take the Chemistry's Insight. It's quite splashable. The resurgence isn't, and even if Boros was open, it's kind of hard to tell in the first pack, and I just want a flexible card with a high probability of being played. Looking at the second pack, there are some good some good cards. There's Conclave, Night Sprite, Generous Trade if you were going Golgari, Electromancer, and then the rest are just cards to fill the deck. I'm gonna go Tribunal. It doesn't match up well with the first pick, but this is higher in power level than Night Sprite, and the problem is if you were not blue black and Demir, the Night Sprite is just a blink really. Because a 1-2 for 2, if we're not playing Demir, it's just not that exciting. So we're gonna go with the Tribunal, taking the strongest card in the pack. Now this is interesting. There's a True Fire Captain and a Legion Guild Mage. These are very strong cards. There's nothing really left in the pack for us to take that even lines up well with our first two picks. And the rest are all filler, so it comes down to the Legion Guild Mage or the True Fire Captain. I do like Legion Guild Mage, but the problem is, if it came down to a pick between these two, the Legion Guild Mage is a great mana sink, but the thing is that Boros isn't trying to find mana sinks, they're trying to curve out, and there are plenty of 2-drops to fill out the curve, so I would take the True Fire since this is just a better 4-drop. Of the Boros archetype. Okay. Now looking at this pack, Thousand Year Storm is a blink and limited. It does absolutely nothing. There's a Ladov champion, but this card's just not really even that exciting anyway. And then there's not a whole lot else for what we have at the moment. Generous Trade is great, like this was Golgari, but that's about it. Veiled Shade is just a very late filler, as well as Bats. It's not something I'd want to take pick for. There's a Ladov champion, which is great if you're going like into Boros actually as a sideboard card against opposing mirror matches. But right here we're gonna take Sworn Companions. There's no high really incentive to go into blue just yet, so we're just gonna put that into the sideboard for now. Looking at this pack, we have Boros Gilgate, Hammer Dropper, and Skyline Scout. Firemind's research isn't that amazing, and it's pretty slow. It's pretty too much slow, in my opinion. If you're maybe in like sealed, if you get a sweet Grixis deck, it'd be fine. But I don't really think that Firemind's research is really that good. I've heard the motion could have some potential, but I don't really like taking it here early. So it's Hammer Dropper or Scout. I think I'll take the Scout. The Hammer Dropper is okay, but We don't really want to get glutted too much on 4 drop since Boros tries to curve out and be pretty efficient, and that's not a card that really helps us do that. That's really the late part of the curve. Looking at this, it's a whole lot of nothing. We could hedge and take the hired poisoner in case this doesn't pan out well, but I don't see a reason to switch so early. Go on, witness. There's not a lot of red, but we could always hedge into green, so I don't see a reason why for us to jump off ship just yet. You are seeing signals at the table that black is open, so this could be a reason for us to leave black. Because like there's like this hammer dropper, but the thing is that we're not seeing any red, which is quite concerning. World Steel Colossus is not even good in Selesnya. So I think now we take a pivot play and we actually go into the Gorgon just in case we have to switch ship, but right now this is fine. So there's Peacemaker, Call It a Corporate, Hammer Dropper. White looks open, but the thing is that red doesn't look open. So I'm not really trying to commit too hard on red because there's these Boros cards that are open, but white looks more open than red. So that makes me kind of hesitant about the True Fire Captain. I think we're going to take the Call of the Corporate and stay on course for white. Now we'll take the Shieldmate. Because the way that I'm drafting is allowing me to have different pivot points because I don't want to commit hard to Boros when I'm not seeing any red, but white looks wide open, so that gives me an out for being a base white as primary and green as a secondary color for Selesnya. And that is what the table is basically telling me, so I'm going to have the Shieldmate as an exit strategy from Boros into Selesnya. Isn't much here. There's like a Golgari Gilgate if we pivot, but the thing is we haven't seen any gold cards wheeled, and that's the main enticement to go into Golgari. And these are mediocre green cards. I don't think I need a second Call of the Culprit, but I will take a Wario copy. It's not an amazing card, but we may have to turn into an aggressive curve style deck. Still no red. Hireless Halberdier is not a sign that we should go into Boros. There's a Pax Favor, which is quite interesting, but I don't think it's the pick here. We're going to take a Sworn Companion, because this gives us the option to actually go into a Convoke style strategy. This is a Golgari Gilgate that lets us splash for black. And it is a Ladov champion. I haven't even seen any good black cards. So we're just going to take the Ladov for the sideboard against the aggro decks. None of this is important, so anything's fine. I guess we could take a Worm, because it's better than Ceratok. I don't like Ceratok because it can easily trade down with the 3-drop, so it's not that impressive. Looking at pack 2, there's Domino Hope, Lidov Champion. Dissident is not a first pick, but it's a fine 2-drop. And then the rest is just a whole lot of nothing. Grippling Sundew is also a good card too, but it's just not a first pickable card. It's really good because one thing that Selesnya do struggle with is against flyers. but I'm going to take the power card, Dawn of Hope. If we do continue with this plan with the token strategy, I do think that it would be really great, especially because it helps us high pick convoke cards, which is really good with the tribunal, and then we have the double sworn companion, so we can hope to get some big convoke cards like siege worms. So I'm gonna take the Dawn of Hope here. The off champion is okay, but it's not that important. Okay, so we have a Shore Symbol, which is very powerful. A great card. Making all these 2/2 bodies is very good. Plus the ability to blink a removal spell at instant speed is really good. There's a Dissonant, but like I stated earlier, it's a fine card, but it's a card you don't really even want to play more than two. You usually only want one of it. It's a great mana sink, but in the early plays, it's just a 2-mana 2/2. So it's a Grizzly Bear with upside, but that's just not what we're looking for right now. Horizon Lurchin was interesting too, but I'm not really interested in it, especially since we didn't take any Golgari Gilgates from pack 1. So I think we're going to go into the Rosemane Centaur. Ashura Simple is very good. It's a very good card. But now we kind of need payoffs for taking these Sworn Companions. And we don't have great top end. We don't have an aggressive early game, so we're going to have to go into a late game Convoke strategy to compensate. Now, District Eye is amazing. This lets us splash quite easily for black, which is something I would definitely be interested in. There's also a Luminous Bond, which is okay as well. But the thing is that if we go into Selesnya, there's a very low amount of space to play non-creature spells, and District Guide is just way better since it lets us splash better gold cards to give us our deck more power. And the deck typically, when I make Selesnya, I usually only play maybe 6-7 non-creature spells tops, and 7 is quite pushing it. We usually want to keep it down to 5, so we need to really prioritize creatures. This Wario copy is something I'd play for filler, but I think this District Guide is way better. Now looking at this pack, have no Convoke. There's a Crawl Foragers, which is fine as a top and as a 5-drop, but we really could do better than that. There's a Rampaging Monument, which is quite interesting, which I think is the pick here. In Selesnya, there aren't that many good 4-drops, so you can be quite picky on what you pick. There's also a Boros Gilgate. We don't have anything we could typically even splash so far, and True Fire is just way too costly. It's not even worth the splash because you need so many gates. You need at least 4 sources just to consistently have a high probability of casting it, so we're going to go into the Monument. Okay, this is exactly what we're looking for. Siege Worm. It complements these Sworn Companions quite well, as well as the Dawn of Hope. Conclave Guildmage is okay, but it's not even the best one, and it's quite slow. It's a mana sink, which is okay, but we don't really need our 2-drops to do that much in the late game, because I really don't want to pay 6 mana to make 2/2s when Dawn of Hope lets me make a 1/1 that draws me a card. That's just way more mana efficient. It allows me to increase my board presence as well as draw cards and gain life, when this is just a 6 mana make a 2/2, which is just not what we're trying to do here. So we're going to take the Siege Worm to help improve the amount of Convoke creatures we have, because it looks like we're going to be a Convoke style strategy. There's not much here really. Like there's a Pine if we would Golgari, but I still haven't even seen any good payoffs to even splash. Like maybe if we get a Horizon Lurcher I might splash. But even then, I still don't want a Vine because Selesnya is trying to be very aggressive and tempo oriented versus being a control stash value oriented deck. So we're going to go into Rosemane Centaur. With these Sworn Companions, it makes it quite probable that we can cast it on turn 4, which is pretty decent. And the Gateway Plaza, I'm just not interested in taking quite yet, because we do need Convokes to make this deck work. Okay, there's nothing here for us really. There's like a Fresh Race Recruit, but Rock Charge is just way better. Even if our 2-drops are suboptimal, following up a 2-drop with a 1/3 and then turn 4 we could swing for 4 is very, very strong. So we're gonna go into Rock Charger. This is quite a good uncommon for white, so we're gonna take this as the pick. There is some red here, but there isn't really anything worth splashing anyway, and we look like we're gonna be on course for Selesnya. I'm not gonna take red now in pack 2 since we haven't seen much in pack 1, so it's very unlikely we'll see it pack 3. Now there's Boros Gilgate, which I'm just not interested in taking. The only thing I would want to splash is the True Fire, but we need 4 sources of red to consistently cast it. That's not even worth it. There's a Call of the Corporate, but we already have 1, and I don't want to take 2 so early. There's an Okapi, which is just not that amazing. Just trades with a 2-drop, and we trade down in mana efficiency. That's not great. So the last pick will have to be the Hitchhor Recluse, which is a fine card for on the draw. It helps us to survive and set up for a late game. Plus the deck, especially in Selesnya, have hard time dealing with flyers, so this helps us bridge the gap into a late game and then cause their flyers to go into chump block mode. Pick here is going to be Dissonant. Gateway Plaza is fine, but we don't really need it right now. Like I said, we're not really trying to hardly play something like True Fire. It's just not that amazing. There is the Garrison Sergeant, which is interesting to splash, but we haven't taken any gates yet, so I don't want to do it. And Solaria Woodshaper is not that good. Grippling Sandu is good too, but we're trying to be a bit aggressive, so we kind of head away from that strategy. Okay, now I'll take another one. We're kind of light on 2-drops, and Sworn Companion is starting to be kind of glutted. We need more Convoke to justify playing any more token generation cards. It's a 100 Witness, Call to Corporate, Righteous Blow. Call to Corporate, like I said, is really good, but we don't really want too many of it. If we took it, this would only be a sideboard card. Hunted Witness is interesting too. We are kind of short on any removal, and I think we'll be fine on early drops, so we're going to go into the Righteous Blow. Help to make sure on the draw that we don't get run over by an aggressive strategy. Now it comes down to Lockets. 2 Lockets of Crawl Foragers. I'm going to take the Crawl Foragers. We kind of need a good late game because our early game's kind of bad. Make sure we don't lose to aggressive strategies. None of this is really important. I'm more likely to splash the Hammer Dropper than I am to play the World Ceratox. Ceratox is really bad. Porkla is fine. I guess we take this. It's not really amazing, but I'm definitely not going to play Pause for Election. And this does not matter. Looking at this pack, some sweet gold cards, but they're completely off course of what we're doing. Retro Suit's really interesting, but it's too far off, and we're playing a stroking strategy, so we know where we can take that. That's by far the best part in the pack. The rare and uncommons we can't play. We're not black, so the best cards are in black, which is kind of unfortunate. So everything else in our color is quite low powered. There's a Selesnya Gilgate, but I'm not sure I really want to take that. I guess that's the only thing we can really take, actually. It's kind of upsetting. A dual land is our first pick, but we can't splash anything else, so that's going to have to be the pick. You have 20 playable, so it's fine to actually start fixing our mana. Okay, now this is just a sweet pick. This is one of the best 4-drops we can have in Selesnya. The 4-drop slot is barely non-existent in Selesnya because there's just nothing really to pick, but this is very outstanding. It's a 4-mana 4/4, and it works well with Rampaging Monument to make that a 4/4 as well, so that's pretty good. The only thing left in the pack to take would be a Crashing Canopy, but I don't want to take that early. There's also a Rise and Lurcher, but I'm not going to take that right now. This is just way strong. So now this is quite interesting. We do want a Crashing Canopy, but I don't really want to take it that early. Hammer Dropper is splashable, but we don't take it now. This Jester Strike's quite interesting. Even though we're not red, this is something I'm willing to splash for, and we could easily do it with Disregard if we pick up one or two gates. I love this card because in most occasions it really is a Doomblade. Granted, yes, it can be a blink against like Dimir, but most of the time it's really is just an efficient 1-for-1. It's actually worth splashing for. There's a Shieldmate here too, but now we get into a capacity in which we only need we don't really need much because it says 15 creatures and 6 non-creature spells, but it's really with the Sworn Companions it's really 17-4. So we really want to make sure that if we have any removal, it's premium because we're kind of strapped for space to play something. So I'd rather take the risk to take this. It's possible we can even get the Crashing Canopy back. If we don't, it's still fine. It's not the end of the world. Skyline Engineer is just not amazing splash. There is a Skyline Scout, which is pretty decent for us. We kind of want combat tricks or removal now. We're kind of good in creatures. Pack's Favor I do like, but I think that's like a pick 12, pick 13 pick. It's not something to take so early. Don't want to really splash anything. Skyline Scout is interesting. So the pick comes down to Scout or the Selesnya Guildgate. I do like 2-drops, but the problem is that we don't want too many 2-1s that do nothing. And it's kind of a huge mana sink that we just can't afford to do. So we're going to actually start fixing our mana. Because it gives us space to actually play a mountain and search for it with District Guide to play the Desert Strike. Headless Hawk is very good. I like Inescapable Blaze, but it's just too hard to splash that. And outside of that, there's whole lot, it's not much else. Sworn Companions, we just don't need that many. We just haven't hit that many Convoke creatures to do that. Typically, you want 5 to 6 in order for 3 to seem enticing with Sworn Companions. And we don't have any Anthem effects, like a Shore Symbol that we could have taken to make this even better at 3. So now we're going to take the Healer's Hawk. We have 2 gates, so with one more gate, even if it's Selesnya, it lets us splash for two mountains and not ruin our mana efficiency. So I'll take the Healer's Hawk, just a really good early drop. Now it comes down to Peacemaker or Luminous Bond. Peacemaker is really good against aggro, but it can't make the main deck simply because it just doesn't do enough to justify playing it. Because if you don't play against aggro and you play against control deck and you're giving them 4 life, that's just really bad. There is nothing else here, so we're going to just take the Luminous Bond. Okay, now looking here, there's Crush Contraband, which is pretty good sideboard card. Though there aren't that many enchantments besides Glaive of the Guild Pack that you really want to kill as an artifact, so usually you would take the Sprouting Maneuver over this. There is a case that playing against Gargoyle, but that's such a narrow case that there's not worth playing. Lockstone Restore, we want to take pick 12, pick 13, not here. Selesnya Guildgate is good here too, but I kind of want to get rid of this Righteous Blow because it's more of a sideboard card than a main board card. And I'm going to take the Take Heart to help us in our early game to press for damage. Now I actually want to take the Loxodon Restore. Yes, we could take the Righteous Blow to help kill early creatures, but Loxodon Restore is really good, especially because it's with the Convoke mechanic. We can easily curve into it, turn 4, gain 4 life, and didn't have a 3/4 body on board, which is pretty good. The Righteous Blow is just not that important anyway, and then the rest of this is just not important. So we're going to take the Loxodon Restore. We don't really want to Righteous Blow. I'd rather have the first Loxodon Restore than the second Righteous Blow. Garrison Sergeant is okay, but the problem is we have 2 gates and neither one produces red. So that's not really good. If we had a Boros Guildgate, I'd be willing to play it, but I don't want to play it as a splash with no red Guildgate. So I'm going to take the Intrusive Pack Piece. Don't want to play it, but it may be a case that we sided in. Now this is perfect. Crashing Canopy, this is really excellent. We're really soft to flyer, so we do need Need a bit more removal, and I don't want to splash any more red because we don't even have a Boros Skill Key to splash. And this is really good, but we'll take the Never Happen. Since we have the Disregard, we could board it against control. There's nothing here for us. I don't really want to play Sure Strike. I don't want to splash any more cards. Play red for any more cards. So we'll play Generous Trade. None of this is important, so we can just take anything. It's not important. Okay, locks it on sword. Okay, so we have a few cards against aggro. Deck looks fine. We're going to have to trim something. Most likely it will have to be an early drop. Not sure about the call of the corporate game 1. It could be a blank, but it's still fine. It's either that or Gesture Strike. Not sure it's worth the first splash for the Gesture Strike. It's a good card, but we didn't pick up enough gates to play this. And it makes our mana less consistent, so I think we have to cut this. Then this is fine. This gives us a creature count of 18 non-creatures at 5. So this is what we're going to play. Looking at this, we need more white than green, so this seems right. 9-8 is fine. And save it, and we're going to run into the first game. Hi, this is Crazy Lazy 1212. Bring you a Gilza Ravnica draft. This is round 1, game 1. We won the dice roll, so we'll decide to be on the play. Okay, this hand is not too exciting. If we get one green source, we can play this on turn 4. And we don't get run over by aggro, so I think this is a fine keep. It's not the most exciting one, but if we had a 2-drop, this gets way better. Okay, playing black, this might be either Golgari Demir. Slow start, but my opponent isn't applying too much pressure yet. Okay, start off with Recluse. Fine trading 1 damage for 1 damage. It's nothing serious. So, does look like he's playing Golgari, maybe splashing for white or blue. It's interesting he wouldn't offer the trade. We Hunted Witness, so that helps us blink the High Poisoner. Not much to do yet, so we just have to pass the turn. Neither of us have a really good play. It's interesting it attacks with that. I'm willing to block. I'm willing to trade the Recluse with anything. Golgari really doesn't play that many flyers. There's no reason to really protect this. We'll let it die. Hope he doesn't have a burglar rat, really. That's completely fine. That's nothing important. Start off with the Crawl Foragers. Last turn. Poisoner is quite annoying. We might have to Luminous Bond it, unfortunately. I'm gonna have to take this. This does nothing to trade the high Hunted Witness. Okay, that's not a scary card. It's basically just a 2/2. Pass the turn. Now we definitely love this. Need a way to get rid of the higher poison, and it's great because we don't have to waste the Luminous Bond on it. We could. Now the question becomes: do we block the trooper and force him to discard a creature, or do we block the harpooner? We have no flyer, so I don't really care about the 3/2. But I would love to block the trooper if he discards, and then we go take heart. Then it would be a 2/2. That's very mana inefficient. But I don't really care about the 3/2. The fact that he attacked with the trooper makes me think he has a trick, but I don't want to waste a trick to kill it back because we want his card to be mana inefficient. So I'd rather just kill the harpooner. There's also a case to block, double block the generous trade, so that we have a body back that we can then trade with this, but then I don't really want to do that. This gives us a 1/1. So there could be a case to actually double block this, because then we get two 1/1s. We will go to 10, but then we gain. Then we gain 2 life. We go to 12. We have two 1/1s. We have two 1/1s that could double block this. I actually do like that more. The damage is not really relevant. We kind of do want to get these weak creatures off the board for poor blocking. And we can deal with this later, and I'd rather just start dealing with these cheap utility cards to make him have to double block, and then we could get him with Take Heart. Sure, he can have an instant speed spell, but it's just not really important. Imp is kind of annoying. Now this really makes me want to hit a force, because I'll be really upset if he hits my Kind Fate Cavalier, because it makes him go -1. Don't have too many good plays here, so I guess we're just going to slam the worm, try to gain some life. We're not going to swing with the other token because we want to double block the... We could double block the harpooner, but I really want to double block this to get rid of his hand. If he has a trick, he has a trick, but we kind of do want him to discard and to make him lose his hand, so our late game we can start doing efficient plays. He wants to do that, that's fine. Most likely he's going to take the Luminous Bond, especially if you have a Rhizome Lurcher or something. And he takes the Conclave. It's quite difficult for Green Black to deal with. because without a Nordic Wound, it's kind of all they have is removal spells that just gives us creatures. Pass the turn, okay. So interesting. He didn't take the take heart. So now I think we just attack with the Vigor Worm. We're not under immediate pressure. We could always take heart if we need to trade and gain life. If we go 2 for 2, so be it. Can only block with one creature, so he could only block with this to kill it, which is fine, because then now we could just go take heart, which he understands the combat trick, so it's kind of awkward with the one block. So you have a pretty good board. Now our socials can trade 1 for 1 against his cards. Attacking for him is just very awkward. Attack with the worm. Pull the other one's back so we can trade with his creatures. Only can block with only one creature, so we'd have the Trooper and minus, which is completely fine. Thinking about starting to hold back now, because the way he gets back in this game is like with the fine finality. It's quite vague. Uncertain he has the card, but we don't want to lose to cards like that. So could considering starting to sandbag creatures in our hand. Now that's really good. So now we can go Luminous Bond. Can attack with both. If he wants to discard to kill this is fine. Trading a card for a removal spell. The Dissident we don't even want to play, to be honest. As a powered. Now that's very brutal. That's pretty good. Okay. So most likely he's going to trade and eat this, which sucks, but I think we'll still be fine. So we'll lose our creature. That was kind of unexpected. It's odd to really see that in draft. And sealed, I'd be more prepared for that, but it's okay. You have Donna Hope to help us draw some more cards. We have Call of the Corporate in the main deck, so we do have a way to kill the Horizon Lurcher. Not going to block it because I'd rather pay 2 and draw a card. We're not under immediate pressure, and the Trooper still gets blanked by our tokens. Some Savage top decks, but we're still in the game. It's still not that bad. Looks like we're going to board end the Justice Strike because we kind of need a way to kill these big creatures. He's playing in his late game. No play, so we'll pass turn. Of course, the one time we sandbag a card, he has the Burglar App, but it is what it is. He attacks with the Fine Broker. We're just going to let it pass since we're still gaining a life, so we're only taking 2, which I'm fine with. Losing our board is just not something we want at the moment. You really need to draw a Call of the Corporate. And we did not draw it. This is still fine because now we can make a token. We can triple block this to get rid of it. And we can draw a card with Raya, with our Dawn of Hope. Do this. I think now we just double block the trooper and force him to have a creature spell. It's not the best position to be in, but do need to start getting rid of his creatures. Actually, we kind of made a mistake. We were actually supposed to make a token to kill a burglar rat. Take one less damage. Still fine. We get to draw 3 cards. And that is not going to be enough. Kind of unfortunate, but that's how the game magic happens sometimes. And we're dead. Okay. So not the best showing. Selesnya in action, but that crushing canopy was quite brutal. But now we know to look for it next game. Don't see a lot of removal out of him, so I think it's actually fine to play a Candlelight Vigil. I actually want to play this Gorgon now because we actually need a way to deal with his big creatures. Need to make a cut here. It might be the Skyline Scout because it trades pretty poorly against the Jitter Straits. Add a bit more removal in with the Righteous Blow. Seemed a little too much to play 2 of it. Need to actually splash in the Justice Strike. I'll take out 2 whites. Play 2 mountains for Justice Strike. Then we need to make 1 cut. It's been interesting. Might be the Hunted Witness because it's just very inefficient. No, it does just chump block and make a 1/1. That's not really what we're trying to do. Helps deal with the high poisoner, but I think we have better ways to deal with it. And we're just going to run it like this. You are playing less creatures, which is kind of upsetting for Selesnya, but we just don't have really a good aggressive curve, and we need a way to deal with his big creatures in the late game. Choose to be on the play. This is fine. We don't have white, but if we hit one land, we can search with District Guide. So now this is pretty good. Going to Dawn of Hope. Now the question becomes what do we play? The Rock Charger, this one companion, or the District Guide? I think we're going to Sworn Companion. I have no problem just trading with half a card against his Burglar Rat. Still mana efficient. If we miss a land drop, we can go District Guide and search for Selesnya Gilgate. Rock Charger. Can have a Pax Favor, but if he wants to waste a combat trick on a 1/1, I'm 100% fine with that. Could have just paid 2 and let him trade with the Burglar Rat, but I'm totally fine with him just trading the Burglar Rat anyway. And I think the Rock Trade is more impactful. Pass the turn. Okay, Crashing Canopy sucks, but that's fine. Only saw 1 Canopy, so he may or may not be able to deal with the Luminous Bond still in the deck. Speaking of the devil. Start to beat in. Totally fine when I'm trading with my token. The Mountain for Justice strike and pass the turn. Hits the Luminous Bond, which is unfortunate, but we did board in an extra removal spell, so it's totally fine. Now that makes it very good. Definitely rather him hit a Luminous Bond to hit my Conclave Cavalier. Pass the turn. Edric. Okay, that's fine. He's most likely going to kill this. Charger, that's fine. We could still push through with the Concave Cavalier. And we can, if we hit a T card, I'm willing to trade 2 for myself to get rid of it. Looking at this, still don't think we need to trade just yet. Rather just push in, see if he's willing to block, and then we can do an efficient 1-for-1. Looks like he's not going to accept the trade. Of course not. That's the turn. Book Collector's fine. Fine with him not blocking and swinging with the Affectionate. Won't even take the damage, it's just not that important. We could play Take Heart, but if he has a Pax Favor, we get blown out, so I'm rather just let this happen. Pellet Collector is not that important becoming a 2-2. Even if it becomes a 3-3, it's just not that irrelevant. That's very unfortunate. Now it's time to go wide and try to press for damage. You could put it on the unblockable, but then it makes it still difficult to swing for lethal. I'd rather just clear his board. can go Indrik, but then we're still pressing for. We still have lethal on board, so he's kind of pressed to do a little more than just the Indrik. See if he has any other play with the Indrik. Otherwise, this is still lethal. I'm perfectly fine with that trade. It's kind of always upsetting when you trade an Indrik with a 2-2. It's pretty funny. Rosemane still pressing for lethal. Still have lethal on board. He still needs to follow up. Looks like he has no follow-up play. He has a Pax Favor, it's fine. He still only has a 1-2 on board, and he's still going to go down to 2, so we still have lethal on board. Keep the pressure on him. Pax Favor. Yep. I guess we should have actually just swung with the 1-1 even if he had a removal spell. That might have been a mistake. Now it's going to come down to top decks. Don't want to trade the knight with the poisoner. Looking for something like a siege worm now. We attack with the knight, he'll just double block with the generous trade. That doesn't help me. That's pretty good. I'm going to present 3 lethal attackers, so he has to block individually. He'll lose his whole board, and he's still staring down lethal, which is good for us. We still have 2 lethal attackers. He needs to draw something really good, like Find Finality. Looks like he drew nothing. Could be a case to play this Wild Ceratok to help us push through his late drops. But then it comes down to, do we want to take out this Candlelight Vigil, which I think is still good against him. The problem is that if we take it out, I don't know what else to play for it. It's interesting. Don't see a reason to take out anything, actually. think we're just gonna run it like this. There is merit to playing this Aratok though. It trades with the Fine Broker, trades with a lot of his creatures. It actually trades at parity, causes double blocks to be really awkward with his generous trades. Dawn of Hope might be a bit too slow. You're actually gonna cut the Dawn of Hope, especially when it has the Crashing Canopy. It's just not really that great. We'll try this. Okay, Crazy Lazy right here. Kills a Ravnica draft. This is round 1, game 3. I will be on the draw. I think this is fine. Don't have any green sources, but that's fine anyway. You can play Luminous Bond and Conclave Tribunal to draw into. While we wait to draw into a forest. We have 8 sources of green, so I think that's fine. And he's not doing anything too impressive. That's totally fine. See what it takes here. We have a lot of removal. He might take the Coral Forages just so that we have no creatures. Nope, takes the Righteous Blow. That's perfectly fine with us. No reason to do anything. 4 turns have passed. I've taken no damage. That's pretty good. Seems to be stuck on mana. And I take 2, which is fine. Last turn. Need to start really drawing some threats now. Otherwise, he'll get out of his mana screw and this will become very awkward. The pack's favored. Even if he has a pack's favor, he's still going to lose a creature, so it's not too bad. Still don't see a reason yet to kill the Pet Collector. If it becomes a 4/4, it might become problematic. So now we're going to have to start killing his creatures because trading damage could start to become problematic for us. Can't let creatures keep dying, making that thing bigger. That wouldn't be good. Awkward position where he can blow us out with the crashing canopy, but there isn't much I can do about it. Just have to hope he don't have it. Guard getting a bit flooded. I will need to draw some action soon, or this can get out of hand really quickly. He's man screwed for quite a bit, so he definitely has more action left. No longer need another mountain. That's quite annoying. I'm in really bad trouble right now. Unfortunate. See if we can draw out of this. Concave Cavalier would be pretty good right here. Looks like he has the Severed Strand. I'm not sure how we can get out of this. Yeah, we're dead. Well, not the greatest showing for Selesnya, but we'll see what happens. Let's go for a game 2. Could have been possible that maybe we were supposed to keep the Dawn of Hope in. Hey, Crazy Lazy 212 here. Give you another Guilds of Ravnica draft. This is round 2. We're going to choose to be on the play. It's fine with us. Start off a Hunted Witness, pass the turn. Looks like we're probably playing another Golgari matchup. Next turn, we're going to go Disregard into Selesnya Gilgate, and then go into a turn 4 Rosemane. Assuming all goes well. Oh, this is actually Demir. Okay, that's fine. We'll then take that. I'm not going to swing with the Hunted Witness, because that holds back the Child of Night. Blade Agent's fine. I'm actually going to start off with. So we can go Sworn Companion into Rosemane Centaur. That's the more efficient, mana efficient play, so we'll do that. Okay, this is fine. Seeing how we're playing, we may actually just cut a Sworn Companion game 2, so it's going to be quite unlikely they're going to be able to get in. Not going to block that. If he wants to draw a card, that's fine. Wants to double block and make his creature bigger, that's fine with me. I'll take the 2 for 1. Size not trade, okay. Now we're going to go into Dissident. Pass the turn. Okay. He goes Dark Blade Agent. I'm definitely would triple block it, since it can only kill 2 creatures. And then I'll still get a token back, so he'll only kill 1 token. Surveilled, put 1 on the grip and 1 on top, which is fine with us. Okay, so these are fairly simple blocks. Once I do this, this is fine. 3 mana for 3 mana, it's pretty decent. The tokens versus the Dark Blade Agent. Him making this imp bigger isn't a big deal. Child of Night still trades with the Dissonant, so it's not a big deal. The fact that he's putting the token on the imp shows that he doesn't want to crack it. I'm gonna swing first and see if he trades with he tries to block with the barrier. I'm willing to actually just trade with the barrier of the bones because we have to get rid of it anyway. Size not the trade. Just go to a Crawl Forgers. Pass the turn. That's a difficult card to deal with. Can't actually block that card, so we're gonna have to pressure him into chump blocking. Okay, that went well. Definitely gonna start out the Sworn Companion game 2 for Crashing Canopy. Most likely, since it's a control matchup, we're gonna play this Locket and an Island to try to get Chemist's Insight, so we don't fall too far behind in the card advantage war. Looks like he's gonna try to race me in the air. I'm totally fine with. We'll have to start chump blocking. We could put him down to 2, but that's just not really efficient for us. Need to apply pressure and get him to start being defensive. Now we're gonna Alpha Strike. See if he drew anything good. He needs to block the Dissonant and the Foragers. Unless he has a removal spell. This would put him down to 1 if he doesn't do anything. Last turn. Yeah, 5 lethal attackers versus his 3 blockers. Hopefully he just has all air. Well, that's pretty good. Mana efficiency wise, it broke even, so it's not that bad. prefer not to show him that card if I don't have to. We could play the Dawn of Hope, but I just don't want to show him the card. We're in a pretty good position, and I don't want to show him a card that could impact his sideboard choices. Hidden Recluse is not really that good here. Gorgon looks like it'd be pretty good here. The companions were very bad. Chemistry Insight seems good. Cut the Call of the Corporate. Play Never Happened. What's the Mirror Locket? Take out one white. Put in a blue source. Take Heart's really bad. Rather play Righteous Blow. We could turn into a value deck with the Generous Trades and the Porterless Vine, but I don't think that's a good way to go. Generous Strays do blink the one power creatures though. And this is just very inefficient blocker. Rather play the Generous Trade. Looks like we're going to play something along the lines like this. Okay. So, game 2, we will be on the draw. This is a fine keep. Not much out of our opponent yet. We're going to kick things off with a Shieldmate. In case we get a Rosemane Centaur. Plus the Dissonant is just better in the late game. Not particularly interested in double blocking, and we don't want this to get negated, so we're going to go under Counterspell with Dawn of Hope. Also really good because he plays all these 2/1s and walls, so you end up trading the tokens worst comes to worst for draw power, or blinking his Child of Nights. See if he's willing to block. And that's a perfectly good trade with me. I'm fine, perfectly fine taking that. Hmm. Pass a turn. See what my opponent does. If he does another surveil, I'm not gonna block. Normally it's be a -1, but with the Dark Blade it's pretty good. Okay, kept one on top. That's perfectly fine with me. And this is the power of Dark Blade Agent if you can use it very offensively. Six. I guess we're just gonna go into see if we can bait him into the same. Fine doing this. Even if he does, we're not gonna block the Dark Blade anyway, and we're kind of conditioning him to not to block with the Barrier of the Bones because of the Pitless Gorgon. This also shows that he doesn't have a response. Otherwise, he would block with the Barrier of Bones and 2-for-1 me. So we know he doesn't have a combat trick. Based on the way he played that he didn't have a combat trick, I'm fine just swinging with both and pumping with Dissident. Now since he didn't do that, I'd rather just make a token. Makes it easier to bring out the Siege Worm. Unclear whether or not he has a counter spell like a Disdainful Stroke in hand. That's fine. Depending on how he surveils, if he keeps one on top, we're just going to chump block with a token. Since he kept one on top, that means it's something he wants to draw. We kind of want to hold off on that. He would have put both to the bottom, we would have let him draw a card, but the fact that he put it on top shows that it's something he wants, so we want to make sure he takes a minute to play it. I actually punted, actually. I should have killed the Diminished Buyback. That was a mistake. Do this while it shields are down. Another bug is fine. Okay, so he's going to surveil to make the bug bigger. That's fine. Could have canisters inside, but I just don't think it's really that necessary right now. Right now, we just want to apply pressure. It's possible he might, if he doesn't have a removal spell, actually tap down the Siege Worm. See if he stuns the Siege Worm. I have to hope he has all air because the diminished spybugs can pressure me out the game if he has removal. Yeah, now I look like an idiot for not playing that Righteous Blow, so now I can't even kill the Dimir Spybugs. Most likely if it attacks with Dark Blade Agent, since he kept his card on top, I believe. Then I would block with the Dissonant and 2-for-1 myself. Yeah, it looks like not Righteous Blowing the first bug is gonna cost me. Yeah, that was a bad pun on my part. We actually should have won this game. Definitely needed that in. I actually thought I had that in. I guess we didn't. Make that quick fix. Generous trade did not look as great as I thought it would be. This should be fine. Good keep on the play. Lead off with a dissonant. Fix our mana. If he attacks with a Child of Night, we'll just take it. Want to get this Rampaging Monument as a 4/4 to get it with the Barrier Bones, so fine taking damage in the short term. Pass the turn. Now the Dissonant can trade with the Gorgon, and the Child of Night is blinked by the Rampaging Monument. It's a fine trade with me. If he wants to play Dazzling Light, that's perfectly fine. Okay, kept one on top. Normally I would want to play the Conclave Cavalier, but like as I stated earlier, really want to get this high impactful card on the board. Just don't want it to get negated. Okay, everything's fine. So now we're gonna Conclave. But only block one creature anyway, and I'm still gonna take the Gorgon, so we might as well push. take this and go to 10, that's fine. Could have a burglar wrap, but it's fine. If he has it, he has it. Can't play around everything. It's one on top. We're just gonna cleanly trade with Darkblade Agent. Has turn. See what our opponent does. Can't kill the flyer, but I still think this is fine. Making a bunch of 2/2s just doesn't help because then we still can't get over Bury the Bones. Swing a Rampaging Monument to try to force him to trade with the Gorgon. Pass the turn. Keep a card in hand to see if he wants to go Pitiless Imp. It's a way to get rid of it. Okay, that's not too bad. Not double block. Now the Imp is walled in the air. Conclave does not tap, so he can't keep it frozen with the House Guild Mage. That's fine. Press in the air, the Conclave. See if he's going to block with the Imp or not. Guild Mage can keep this frozen down, but he can't stop the Conclave from going off. Now if he wants to keep the Rock Charger down so he can't die by lethal, which is fine with us. You're going to get in position where he needs to double block. We'll draw a removal spell. Okay, so he's going to crack. Yeah, well, doesn't do anything. Okay, so it's okay, draw. GG's. Well, I don't see why he scooped, because I actually couldn't untap the Rock Charger, so I couldn't swing with lethal, but it is what it is, I guess. So that game went surprisingly well. Opponent had a really good Demir deck. Now we just need to fire up another game. Let's see, wait, get matched up for round 3. Okay. Hey you guys, Crazy Lazy 1212 here. This is round 3 of a Guilds of Ravnica draft. It looks like I'm going to be on the draw. This hand looks pretty good. You have removal, early plays, and a threat in the late game. So it's definitely a keep. Opponent keeps. Not too bad. Not under immediate pressure. Lead off a dissonant. Pass the turn. So might be playing a Sultai variant. Gonna have to try to work to get on the board hard and fast because his late game might be better than mine. That's not good. Cut the plains because we need the double forest for Conclave. Since we're playing since a Sultai variant, we need to start applying pressure quickly. We need to start off with the Sworn Companion. Start pressing his total, his life total. These removal spells should come in handy in this game. Okay, since we hit a land, I'm gonna attack with one soldier and one dissonant. That's pretty good value there. That compensates for the discard. Play the Centaur to get under counter spells. Pass the turn. Hit a land, we can go dissonant into Luminous Bond and press for more damage. I'll have to start doing that. 10% cash back. Ooh, baby. Now that is worth it. Now we're going to go call the corporate. Only has one mana up to kill it. As I stated earlier, since he's playing Sultai, the best way for us to win is simply to outpressure him. Especially when he kept two on top. Okay, that's pretty good. Looks like you might have an artful takedown. Keep applying pressure. Kept one on top. Now the question remains, do we want to aggressively use this Luminous Bond? The thing is, if he has a Whisper Agent, I look kind of stupid. The Siege Worm most likely will get negated. You could have the Whisper Agent, but I can't play around a Whisper Agent and a Counterspell. Okay, Kero Swarm's fine. Just trades with 1/1 tokens. This is where we get quite aggressive, because this gives me 3 lethal swings, and he doesn't have 2 mana up, 3 mana up for Whisper Agent, which he didn't have, otherwise he would have played it the last turn. That's the turn. Okay, we're gonna have to go into our other sideboard plan. When this is pretty bad, Swarm Companions is pretty bad. So Gorgon, press through this board. And we need the Crashing Canopy. Siege Worm seems really bad. We just need value cards to help us in the late game. The manner in which he was playing, he played like he did play counter spells. I think this is gonna have to be fine. Okay. Looks like I'm gonna be on the draw. This is a fine keep. Okay, this isn't really that threatening, which is fine with us. Start with the shield mate. Looks like he's gonna hit my hand. I don't have that much exciting, so I have no problem with it. Okay, so hit Crawl Forgers. It's not a big deal. I'm gonna attack. Now we're gonna go into a copy in case we hit the The Rosemane Centaur, we can play it turn 4, even if we miss the land drop. Do this so he can hit one of these two cards while we still have the Pitless Gordon. Don't have any much more action, so we're just going to pass the turn. Okay, the Muse Drake is fine because we have the Recluse to block it. Plus we can pressure it if we draw another land. Does not attack. Okay. So we're going to play the Gorgon to beat out the Etrata, blinking it. We can't play the Conclave Cavalier because then he would just snap attack and get rid of the Conclave. Well, this is going to be take a bit of time to get around. Though I don't like doing this, the first thing I have to do is get those off the board. Now we block the Muse Drake. Taking one is fine. We don't need to draw like a Call to Corporate to kill this Etrata. That is not what we're looking for. Can play Conclave and get around a counter spell, but then he'll Latrada and kill the Conclave. So we're just gonna have to pass the turn. Now we're gonna start attacking with this Healer's Hawk, so he essentially only does 1 a turn. Pay 6 to hit me for 1. Pay 6 to deal 1 for me is fine. Ooh. Perfect. Finally got rid of this. See if he has a response. That's a good response. Still gonna alpha. Last turn. Opponent's drawing pretty dead. Now I think it's actually about time to go a bit aggressive. Yes, he can kill a creature with a Trotta, but now I think we're in a comfortable position where my opponent is just drawing dead. The Atrata is just becoming extremely awkward. We kind of want to clock his draw steps because we don't want to give him an opportunity to actually draw something to deal with this. Now he's hard pressed to get rid of the Conclave. As much as I don't want to play the Conclave, I need to get rid of this Atrata. we hit with the shield mare, then he's just gonna double block. Which doesn't do anything, so we're just gonna attack for 1 in the air. Need to start clocking his draw steps. If we swing with the Rosemane, assuming he has a land, because he hasn't done anything the entire time, he'll double block with the Blood Operative and the Rat. And then he'll block. He'll gain 3 and go to 9. We don't really want him to do that. But then again, he'll make this unable to be blocked, and that's pretty bad. Yeah. I think actually the play is to swing with these 3. This holds back the Recluse just in case he decides not to. We can't just let him to be in a position where he can start making that Blood Operative unable to be blocked and then start gaining life, because the game can get out of hand that way. Definitely doesn't have anything because he had 1 card in hand the whole game, so most likely it's just a land. I'm gonna start applying pressure now. If I have to trade with the Burglar Rat, so be it. You have to clock his draw steps. We just don't want him drawing anything. That's kind of annoying. Well, we could actually just lose this at draw to win condition. That would be very, very upsetting. Hold the land so that we can use it for jumpstart. So now my opponent has to draw something because we have lethal on board. And my opponent concedes with a Notion Rain. He definitely found lethal. Well, couldn't get a trophy there, but you know, after a rough start on round one, we did win the next two rounds. Stay tuned for more draft videos. Like Crazy Lazy 1212. Until then, I'll see you next time.